Hey, how's it going? My name's Nate, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make mozzarella cheese. There's 3 very important things to know when you're making mozzarella cheese. The first, be one with the cheese. It's really important that you are in the cheese making moment. Spend half the day making your cheese and really put all your time and energy into it. Believe me, it'll help. 2, love the cheese. Because you're putting all this time into it, you really have to put your feelings, your emotions, talk to the cheese, let it know that you care about it. And number 3, make sure you have a good time. Have fun. It's not a big deal if you screw the whole thing up and waste half the day. It was only $20. No big deal. For the ingredients, what you're going to need: 1 gallon of non-ultra pasteurized, so it can be pasteurized, but just make sure it is not ultra pasteurized. Most organic milks that you get at the grocery store will be ultra pasteurized. So this milk here from Shamrock Farms is just pasteurized, which is most that you'll find, and it is fine to use. Just make sure it is whole milk. You also want rennet tablets. We use 1/2 rennet tablet. I got these off Amazon. They were pretty cheap. And one of the other ingredients we're going to use is citric acid. This is citric acid, but I bought it off Amazon as well. It was a good like $13. We use a teaspoon of this. And so as you can tell, this thing's massive and it'll last a long time. So this is citric acid. This will help the cheese be like stick together. So when you pull it apart, like on the commercials, it'll just string all out. All great, like when you're eating pizza. That's what this does. All right, the next thing we're going to need is a little bit of purified water. All right, so this is our Brita water. It's got to be purified water. That's why we're using this Brita water that we normally use just to drink. And we'll actually only be using around like a 1/2 cup of water. Most of it will just be milk. This is the water that we're using because it is purified. Last thing we'll need is kosher salt, which we will add just a little bit in at the very end. As for the equipment, we will need 1 glass Pyrex container, 1 strainer, make sure it's steel, 1 stainless steel container that you can put the milk in. This is what you'll be cooking everything in, so obviously it's really important. Make sure it's stainless steel, not plastic or rubber or anything else that you probably wouldn't put on the stove anyways. 1 thermometer, which many people also call a thermometer. You'll use this to measure the temperature of the milk because that's going to be very important while making the cheese. And last, and maybe least, 1/4 measuring cup. All right, so now let's get started. We're going to put our still pot on the stove. We're going to grab our milk. Alright, so I put the milk in there, but before we do that, we're actually going to need to grab our citric acid. We're going to grab 1 teaspoon and pour it in our very nifty 1/4 cup. And we're going to add the water. And I'm just going to stir this around just for a few seconds. Grab a spoon. Alright, so before we turn the burner on, we're going to stir it around for 30 seconds. Okay, turn the burner on. So now we're just going to stir it until it reaches 90 degrees, but actually right before that, around 80 to 85 degrees, we're going to put in the rennet. And we're just going to stir and we're going to check the temperature, just probably every 30 seconds or so to make sure that we don't exceed that temperature. Okay, so something new I just learned. Make sure you get a thermometer that has can go low enough, I guess, because some go pretty high. So make sure you get the right thermometer. Okay, it's around 80 degrees. So I'm going to start dissolving the rennet tablet. I'm going to put in 1/4 cup into my rennet tablet. and let it dissolve. All right, we just hit 90 degrees. So we're actually going to turn off the burner. We're going to take this off. Okay, so now that your rennet is mostly dissolved, there'll still be a little bit left. Grab a little spoon that you've been stirring with, and you're gonna get your rennet, and you're just gonna pour it through here. All right, so it is off the burner, burner's turned off. We're just going to let it sit here. We're going to put a top on it. We're going to walk away now from this thing for 5 to 10 minutes. All right, it has sit for a little over 5 minutes, so we're gonna see what it looks like. And there should be curd separated from the whey if this turned out right. The way we're able to tell is if it can be cut. And we're going to cut little squares out of the curd. All right, so we cut the curd so that the whey, so there's the curd on the top, and then there's the whey on the bottom. The whey is the liquid, the curd's the solid, and we cut it like we just did, so that, as you can see too, when I move it around like that, you can kind of see the whey coming up through. So we cut it so that more of the whey comes out of the curd. We really just want that curd because that curd is what is going to end up being the cheese. Now we're going to turn our burner back on. So we're going to check the temperature. So it's a little above 85 degrees. The main part of this is we're going to wait till it gets to 105 degrees. Okay, so it's about to 105. So now we're going to take this off. I'm going to just spoon it out. All right, so now we've got all the curd into the strainer. We're not going to push on it or anything. We're actually just going to just spin it around so all the whey can get out. All right, so it's actually looking pretty good. Just continuing to. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, so now that we've got this all, well, not all of it, but actually make sure you wash your hands. And you're going to just press on it a little bit. So what we're actually going to do now is we're going to use the microwave, which kind of seemed weird to me, but we're going to put it in the microwave for 1 minute. The glass. Kind of a mess. Okay, so now we have microwaved cheese and we're going to plop it back in here. So it's going to be a little bit warm because yes, it was in the microwave. We're still just going to man up and oh, that is hot. All right, so I put this in the microwave for another 30 seconds. I've just been mixing it around. Oh my goodness, it's starting to look how it's supposed to look. Look at that. Look at this ball of cheese I'm making. I'm going to add the kosher salt. I really don't know how much to add, and so that's probably way too much, but whatever. I've realized that the kneading is kind of the most important part. You can't just squish it between your fingers, you actually have to fold it over on itself. And that's eventually what's going to make it shiny and actually look like cheese and not like cottage cheese. I was kind of squeezing it between my fingers, and because of that, it was turning into just this like. So a gallon of milk made this much cheese. This, my friends, is my ball of cheese.